welcome to Factorio. My name is Nilaus. This is episode 92 of our Let's Play campaign. So there's a lot of things that should be done. We did a lot of work here some episodes ago and we expanded our perimeter. Just put the blueprints down at the end of last episode and then I just let it go here, and I am extremely happy with how it works. They have now also all been fitted with uranium shots, and that should hold off all the biters. And out here we have new areas slightly further out. We have progress on the artillery shell. We are just going to take a look at just an overview of the base before we dive into sort of the topic of today. Well, the topic here is what is holding us back? Well, what's holding us back is quite clearly there's a tiny bit of progress, but the majority is here actually stuck because of lack of rocket science. Well, it's okay. Let's have a look at the rocket science. So the rocket science seems to, yeah, they're not really working, and that's the blue circuits. The reason why the blue circuits are so bad. This one is surprisingly actually. What? Where are the yellow? Where's the red? Where are all the red circuits? Whoa, that's brand new information to me. I did not see that coming. Maybe there have been a bit of a glitch in the copper, but maybe this is very strange because I did not expect to be running out of red circuits, which is clearly what's happening here. This one is just running out of red circuits, and I suspect, yeah. And this one is then consuming. I mean, it's self-balancing. That means as this one stacks up, more will go. It is working. This one is just a bit strange how this one. I looked at it not too long ago, and it was actually consuming all of the green circuits. But I suppose this is because, if you can see here, more stuff is being delivered to me like this. And as I progress out here, and this is basically the topic of today. Yes, I do see what we have on the right hand side. Okay, so now there's not so much that's missing. 31 plus 37. This one, yes, obviously it's not working because we kind of deconstructed the coal from over here. Yeah, let's do that first. But you can also see some issue about this balancing here. Definitely an issue, and we will have to deal with that. Let's see, this one, I guess this is the new location. Boom. And you know what? I think I'll actually do it in a different way. This is always the case, right? I mean, yeah. Oh, I was just about saying it would suck if it got in there, but it did. So maybe it is safer to do this one. It is. And back here. Take this one out. Go. And we take this thing. Hopefully it is a complete match. It absolutely is. That's brilliant. And I can now take it. Voila. Do I want to wait for this? Clearly not. So these will kick off again. Does this actually hold us up? No, it's only really needed. Oh, it's really needed for here. Okay, but it's still full belt, so that's not an issue. The other location is this one, which is also still a full belt. So it has not caused any stir up at this point. Okay, where are we at? We are missing 18. That could sort of be close to the end of this. Nope, not quite. All right, so we have some things to do here. You can quite clearly see that for some reason, unbeknownst to me, they are not balanced. So why don't we add balancer to each of these lanes? Let's just have a look at this one. I have an idea. Why does it start with a 1 to 2 balancer? There should be a 1 to 1 balancer, if like a load side balancer. Here. Let's start by killing off this part. And this is where, yet again, it comes in as being completely wrong to put it there. Taking this out. This thing. You know, maybe even more. And we take this. Boom, boom, boom. Does that look good? Not really. It could look better. Granted. Let's make it look. No. And this is now the usual stuff. Get in here. Does this solve anything? Not really. Let's see if this works. How does this not work? Yeah, definitely something robots will do from now on. And technically, that would be more correct. There. Wow, that looks awful. At least I'm being honest. But let's take this whole damn thing and build the same thing over here. So that means we are going to start by killing off these lanes. Killing off that one and that one. All this junk. That one. Alright. So now let's see. Everything should work. Sweet. It does. And did I pick up some random things? Yes, I did. But not a lot. And I just put these in. Whoops. What the hell am I doing? Nope. There we go. Alright, so they are working, and that will now provide much better balancing between the two lanes. That should help a tiny little bit. However, the big question, issue, topic of our conversation here. Okay, we're missing 2 over here. Let's get those 2 first. We have that. Just so we can say that one of them is done. There we go. That's now done. Now we're missing 9 plus 25. I didn't actually think that we would get the speed modules first. All right, we are only missing 17. That's excellent. So we should also have full lanes outbound. Great. Right. So the next thing, one of the improvements I have just made was actually set a little signal here, and that means as soon as the tail end, the ass of the train crosses here, then it's open. Because I'm just going to take this opportunity to show. Look at this. There are tons of copper trains. Tons. 3. There are several copper trains. And that's just great. This is exactly how I wanted it. I wanted them out here waiting to get in. These cannot, and this is a very important principle of this base. So if you want to change this principle, you change the entire concept of the base. And also, as far as I understand it, the concept of Apollo's train network. Since these locations do not have any sort of individual stackers, I have to keep the stacker out here. This is also better to keep stackers out here, because that means they can, as you can see here, they can go in wherever they are needed. And that means at this point, as soon as that goes, this one turns yellow and there should be someone in. All right, this one, let's see when this one turned yellow, and then it turns all the way back, and that's when it gets dispatched. That means there is some latency. Could I do it in a different way? Oh, okay, of course. If I, like the easiest thing to say, just make a regular signal here. That means it could get up here and get parked here. However, That means the coal would sometimes get, no, it would every single time get, it'll sometimes get stuck behind that one, and it'll just stand here. And that's something I absolutely have to avoid. So what I need to do is make sure that the trains coming in are enough to support these operating at full capacity, which looks like is the case right now. This is looking very nice all the way through. So we're actually getting to this one and starting to see that you're not actually producing quite enough. And the belts are fully saturated, but it's simply the production of red circuits that doesn't even keep up here. So that goes in. Let's see where it goes in. It goes into this one. And these two, these are actually stuck. So they should be start filling back. But what I can see here is actually a bit concerning. Let's try and see if I can do that from range. What I am seeing, where was it? Here. No. This one, yes, this one. So the top lane here is actually stuck. And it'll continue to be stuck. It can just shift down, but I'd actually like this one to be shifted down. Here. Now, yes, it will stack up for a bit, but if we look at it, there we go. Let's take let's take a look at when this one comes in. Please be fast. Anytime now. Just give all the time you need. No urgency at all. There we go. That will help, but as we can see here, this one, let's assume these are full. If they're full, and they're not, then this one will never get more than half of a blue belt inbound until these start jamming, which they are. Granted, they really are right now. They are jamming. The reason why they're jamming is because the blue circuit got stuck. Wow, the blue circuit is actually, oh, okay, no, the blue circuit is not stuck. Blue circuit is what holds us back. And this one, these are the ones that I want to keep going, and these are also the ones I want to keep going. This one here, we have the main issue being that we simply do not have enough red circuits. But actually now it looks like we are getting enough red circuits. So all of this, the blue circuit is working at the capacity that we should be expecting. I still have a few things up here that are not done. Let's get there. How many are missing? 6? Where? There. 6. Okay. That is excellent. Now, one more thing I can do is this one has a threshold of 20,000. But actually, when I look at this, you can see these are emptying. For whatever reason, they are not emptying completely correctly or balanced, but it's actually making some difference here. So what I can do is I can take this one and say basically, you know what? Hold on, is this the first one? Yes, it is the first one. So this one, what if I set this to 40? That means a lot more will be inbound, because that means it'll hopefully keep those saturated. The total capacity here is actually 76,000. So having it slightly higher, closer to the max, is actually not a problem. They'll still be able to unload fast enough. Maybe some of them will stop unloading on the top side, but then they'll just unload the rest on the downside. There we go. And let's look at the actual copper supply out here. The way we look at it is by looking at the one that's furthest away. This one at this point, it's, how much do we have? We have 99,000 stored up. So clearly the mining of copper is sufficient. The trains coming inbound is sufficient. The unloading is sufficient, at least now. The output is fully saturated, and that means the whole base is now working at exactly the capacity that it is designed for. All the belts are pretty much fully saturated. And of course, there is no point in trying to say, hey, what's the next thing, the next thing, the next thing? Because at some point you'll just say, yep, of course there'll be a next thing. But if I then turn something else up, then everything else will stall. The one thing I would like, and that's because you can see here the supply of plastic and green circuits is actually adequate for what we need. That means we could and probably should. Oh, hold on, are they not? They're not even prioritized, these ones. Yeah, so this is actually strange. Why am I... This is going to end by 8 or by 4, taking 2 dedicated lines down here. There's, which means makes 2 lines more go out. Is that correct? I actually think it is. So should we scale up the blue circuit production? I don't think so, because we are then running out of red circuits. If when this one is stacking up at as it should be, let's say we are still missing a few, I have now 10, so that's great. Oh, wrong one. Go over here, and there they are. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So we now have all of it produced, and we are starting to stack up a bit more. And that means, where should the next item be? So at this point, I am extremely happy with the inbound materials, because it is working exactly as I had designed it, and it can keep up. It can keep up with 8 red belts output, 8 red belts input, 8 red belts output. Surely 8 red belts output is not the same as 8 red belts input, slightly less. Everything up here with our new iron is absolutely fully saturated and lovely and awesome. And just getting tipped up or topped up once in a while. Our Kovorix is saturated, and the next one here will start jamming soon. Yes. We have finally managed to work our way through all of the filters, which is stuff that goes through here and goes in. The storage here is 44,000. I don't know. That's fine. They just do what they do. And it'll never, ever, ever become an issue with the amount of materials we have here. We have 75,000 stored. And here we have like, what was it, 1.2 million or something? Hard to click it. There was 1.2 million out of 2.4. So I've used half of it. That's not a concern at all. This one's pretty dead. So this is rarely enabled. Sometimes it will be. It is enabled. Nice. So once in a while they'll get for that one. So all the materials, that's actually coming in there. Nice. Right. So this actually so to be what are the things that need to be done? Well, the one thing that we could do that could actually help us, look at the coal though. What is up with the coal? I think the coal needs pretty much the same treatment as we have here. Oh yes, it absolutely does. Here. Here. Oh. Also, upgrade. Oh, you know what? This isn't even upgraded. Oh. Maybe not me. There we go. There. And that means this one should be upgraded. Definitely up to here. I don't think, since this is scaled towards red circuits, I don't really see a point to getting it further up. He said, and then did it anyway. These, also fine. Tons of those. You know what? Now that it's just become a thing, so why don't we just upgrade all of it? There we go. These two, where are they going? They're going, and that rest of it is done. See, this is where that goes into the bus, so no point in having a blue belt when it's actually constrained further upstream by a red belt. And that one is a dead line. It is what it is. That was the one that went led up here for the fueling, but we don't need that anymore. Good. Now this one's working much better as well, not a problem. Now what I wanted to move towards was actually this one. If we see this one, you can see what a tremendous amount of products we are getting in. And if I converted all of this into a corresponding setup for with modules and beacons. It'll be smaller, and it could potentially build more than 6 lanes of iron. Could it build 8? No. Because these... Oh, well, actually this one is 40% productivity, so it could... Basically, I'll just do a calculator, because I have 6 lines times 1.4. That'll be 8.4 lanes. So I could get 8 lanes of... 8 lanes outbound here. Would that help? Yeah, it would help. Definitely would help. Then we could get more stuff in here. That would give us less. Or it would actually mean that I could maybe get a 4th one of the red circuits. Though I don't think that's needed. But it is really the red circuits that's holding up the blue circuits. That's holding up the rocket launchers. Primarily because we are building so many of these. And I've set this to 500. Yes, that's a lot, true. But if I need to, for example, get the green circuits up, then I will need it for 500. This one is actually not working well enough, and I do suspect it is... Are they all working? Yeah, they're all working. Cool. They're all working. So the next thing that I would make it better is simply just adding more modules. I'm just thinking, couldn't this be a thing? Am I just being... Yeah, it would have to be like this, and that means no more stuff coming in. It would have to be a bit closer designed. That's not how I would do it. I would rebuild this one. I have plenty of space because this one can just be shifted over. That's definitely something. All right, so what this episode was basically a walkthrough of the status of where we are in the base, because we've been tweaking a lot of small things. Let's also take a look at the power. I wanted to give you an overview of where we are, also give myself an overview of where we are in the base, and figure out what are the things that we want to improve, if we want to improve anything, and how would we improve it. So plastic, not an issue, we have plenty of that. And also totally moduled and beaconed, all that good stuff. These are actually here. This is a bit strange why we don't have any speed modules on it, but that's because this one is purely serving as topping up. Well, it's still actually using all of it. So if I wanted to redo this one, that means I need a location where we can get... We basically still... I can't change the input. I can get 9 lanes of copper and 6 lanes of iron. I could get more lanes of iron, I think, because they are not really being used for much, to be honest. Right? Yeah, see here, I could take 2 more lanes in because I already have 4 lanes, and then if I made this into a 6-to-6 splitter, then I could branch out 2 more lanes out here, and that could be there. Which means I can actually build something that takes, if I can find a way to muck it in here, take 8 lanes of iron and 9 lanes of copper. Why slightly more copper? Because even with the productivity gain here, because this one... Okay, let's just look at the formula, right? This takes 3 copper cables, or 1.5 copper. So the thing is, if I put one copper in, then I will get 40% productivity out, and that is not the 1.5 that's needed. It's 1.4, which means that if I take my 1 iron and divide by 1.5 and multiply by 1.4, then I get 0.93. That's the ratio. 93%. I need, for every 1 copper, I need 93% iron. Or put in a different way, if I have 8 lanes of iron and then divided by 0.93, then I'll need 8.6, well, I'm gonna call that 9 lanes of copper. Right, that should do the trick. How to do it exactly, I don't know, because I would need 8 lanes outbound, and I might just close my eyes and say, you know what, that's close enough. Basically saying 8 lanes of 8 lanes of copper in. How that will be, yeah. I might just do that. Oh, right, by the way, that's going to be overstacking, because if I am producing, only putting 0.93 copper, then I still multiply by productivity, and that'll give 1.3 circuits. So okay, we'll summarize. 1 lane of copper, 93% of a lane of iron will give me 1.3 lanes of green circuits. So it's actually way less than that I need. That's pretty good, but I'm not going to be making more than 8 lanes of copper, because that's kind of too much. That should also be some productivity gain. So this is definitely what we want to do. Let's head over to our location where we're going to build it. We still have a bit of space. Well, we actually got some new space. This will be our testing ground where we will actually need it coming in. And we are starting to accumulate enough that we can actually start building something. All right, so testing grounds, here we come. And oh dear, we have run out of time. That's actually, it was intended to have this episode as being mainly looking at the trains, making small tweaks, and also basically taking stock of all the things that we've done in terms of upgrades and looking how well they perform. So you can see here how well this is working here. This is at 38,000, and yet it's still coming. The next one's coming in. So very happy with it. Checking here, we have plenty of copper trains standing out here. All the way out in our furthest location, we have fully saturated 115,000 plus whatever is on the belts. And what about down here? Is this also saturated? 150,000. Yeah, so no problems at all. This is also just waiting to get in, just waiting for one of the iron bars. So we really, we definitely don't have a bottleneck on mining. We definitely don't have a bottleneck on the train choke point. We definitely don't have a bottleneck on train unloading. We definitely don't have a bottleneck on train on smelting. It is only at the very end, which is exactly where you want the bottleneck. You want it to be the most important product that is the bottleneck, and that's always blue circuits. It just is. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Next episode, we will be trying to make a design for the green circuits so that we can improve that from being 6 lanes outbound to maybe 8 lanes outbound, which will give us more red, will give us more blue, and make us more happy and use more power. Thank you very much for joining. Hope you're enjoying this series, and a few more episodes, right? Just a few more episodes. Thank you very much. If you remember to like it, if you do, and if you haven't already, maybe time to subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Stay effective.